Next, I'm thrilled to welcome San Francisco's mayor, Daniel Lurie, to the stage. Daniel was born and raised in San Francisco. From his leadership at Tipping Point Community to the Super Bowl 50 host committee, he has a proven track record of public service and a long-standing commitment to improving the lives of San Franciscans. In 2005, he founded the Tipping Point Community, a pioneer in anti-poverty initiatives across the Bay Area. Under his direction, Tipping Point raised over $500 million to house, employ, educate, and support hundreds of thousands of Bay Area families. In his role as CEO, he steered $100 million to the Chronic Homelessness Initiative, the largest private investment to date in housing access in San Francisco. Among the program's successes were a new financing model to construct permanent, supportive housing 50% faster and more affordably than the city had ever done before. Former Mayor Ed Lee selected Daniel in 2013 to lead the San Francisco Bay Area Super Bowl 50 host committee, an effort that brought over $240 million in economic impact to the region. Over a quarter of the funds from the event were then reinvested in programs serving Bay Area youth. Following the devastating fires in the North Bay in 2017, Daniel and Tipping Point partnered with 90 Bay Area business and community leaders to organize Band Together. This is really neat. It was a benefit concert that raised $17 million for those hardest hit by the deadly fires. In total, Tipping Point's emergency fire relief fund raised over $34 million. Daniel is a graduate of Duke University and obtained his master's in public policy at UC Berkeley. He lives in the city with his wife, Becca, and 2 school-aged children. And returning to the stage to join Mayor Lurie, of course, is our visionary leader, Dean Erika James. Let's give them a warm welcome.
I think that's the best music we've had.
That was good music. I like that. Keep that going.
I feel a little awkward welcoming you since this is your city.
Yeah, welcome, Dean, to our city. Yes.
I'm thrilled to be here, but also thrilled that you are joining us at the 57th Wharton Global Forum, which is an opportunity to bring alumni from around the world together to participate in the thought leadership that comes from the school. We are here in San Francisco intentionally because, as you know, Wharton has had a 20-year history in the city. We lead an executive MBA program here. We do a lot of work with now high school students, what we call our global youth programming. We lead executive education, and we are deeply entrenched now in the AI entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem that is here. But what I want to talk to you about, I'm very curious. You have never been a politician before. You are a lifelong San Franciscan, so the city means something to you. But there's probably not a more challenging time for you to have taken on the leadership of a city that has seen some difficulties in the past several years. Why did you want to take on this role of mayor?
Well, first, to all of those that are coming to San Francisco for the first time from around the country, or you're back visiting, welcome back to the greatest city in the world. I know we got some competition. I know. But I do believe that when we're at our best, we're the greatest city in the world. And I've seen us at our best, and I know the last few years we have not been there. But there is no doubt in my mind that we are closer to being back than many people realize. And you and I were talking before we came on just about how this city has everything at its disposal. Besides being the most beautiful city in the world, we have this innovative ecosystem that I know we'll talk more about. And I just saw all the untapped potential. And I said, I cannot stand by while our city continues to get thumped by the national and the global media. I felt like I had the skills and the ability to help lead our city. And I couldn't sit by and just complain. I needed to jump in and take a shot. I will tell you that there was probably 5 or 6 people that thought I could win. One fact that is pretty astounding is that it's been 111 years since someone that has not held elected office has become mayor of San Francisco. So it was, I'm not looking for applause. I'm just looking. It was a time in our city where people we're looking for something different: change, accountability, transparency, and I had a great time running. I'm having an even better time leading.
I love that. So what is it about being the outsider, if you will, that you think was so important to your being able to step into this role?
Well, I think people, I mean, you're seeing this everywhere, that the old way of doing things is not working. And it wasn't as if I didn't know the city, as you said and mentioned. I was born and raised here. My wife and I, we have 2 kids. They were born on the same floor at the same hospital that I was born at. And so I love this city with every fiber of my being. And so I think people understood that I wasn't just some outsider. I was someone that had served the city in a variety of roles. And I wasn't beholden to the system. I wasn't beholden to the old way of doing things, and we had a fresh approach. I had gotten results in my past job, and I'm committed to being all about common sense solutions. I'm not about trying to use this as a stepping stone for something else. I want to turn around the city that I love, and it's doable, and we're going to do it, and we're already off and running.
In the 5 years that I've been coming to San Francisco on behalf of Wharton, I've started to see a transition. So thank you on behalf of our community. Thank you for the work that you're doing, and we're eager to be a part of San Francisco's transformation as well. We're here largely because San Francisco has become what we've described earlier today, this mindset. When you think about the talent that's here, when you think about the ecosystem around AI and innovation, how are you using that to your advantage as you think about the revitalization of this city? I
think it is my job to create the conditions for the success of our business community. So we're focusing on public safety as our number one priority, behavioral health, and getting people the help that they need and getting them off the street. Those are the top 2 priorities. And then the third is making it easier for our entrepreneurs and our innovators and our arts and culture leaders to do business and to do what they do best. I don't want to get in the way. What you all are doing here at Wharton, training people for those, we're the home of AI. Like, there's no better spot on the globe if you want to be involved in technology or in what's coming next than San Francisco. We have great institutions here. UCSF doesn't get named a lot. Wharton doesn't get named a lot. We got Cal, we got Berkeley, but then we got OpenAI and Anthropic and Google and Salesforce and Databricks. I mean, you can just keep going. And so I want government to create the conditions for our small businesses and our big business to thrive. And we have to do that to get back to where we want to go.
So at the end of the day, what does success look like for you with respect to San Francisco?
I've been asked that question. We are going to be data driven. We're going to have OKRs in every part of our work. I guess that's I am, and I think that's I like that you're laughing. But I want that. Like, we need to bring more accountability to how we govern and how we lead and where we spend our dollars. But
laughter, I think, is because you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
This is a group of people
I
all about.
Appreciate it. You probably don't hear government officials talking about OKRs very often. So but then I'm going to bring it back to, I'm going to know that we've been successful if we change the vibe, if we change that feeling that is tough to quantify. But I want to be able to walk my kids down the street in the Tenderloin or on Market Street and not see somebody using openly or dealing drugs or laid out when we should get that person into a shelter or into housing. And we're going to know it when we see it. We have a long way to go here in San Francisco. I'm clear-eyed about our challenges, but improvement has been made, and yet we have so much more to go. But when we're done with 4 years, when we're done with 8 years, everyone around the globe is going to be like, not only is San Francisco back, but it's better than it's ever been.
Love that. What do you see as the role of public-private partnerships in helping you achieve that goal?
Instrumental. I think nothing can get done. At Tipping Point, we were always saying, how can we support and bring business to the table, but also support local governments in doing their work more effectively and efficiently. And our mindset now inside City Hall is it's going to take all of us coming together. And the private sector has a obligation and a responsibility to be part of the solution. I don't want to roll out the red carpet to companies who just come in and say, what are you offering me? We are welcoming business back. I'm calling CEOs. I'm calling those that are running conferences and saying, what can we do to get you here in San Francisco? But I say, I want you to be part of rebuilding San Francisco. I want you and your employees engaged in local nonprofits, in the arts and culture, supporting our public schools. It's got to be a two-way street. And we've launched something called, an outside group is called the Partnership for San Francisco. It's a group of executives and business leaders modeled after what New York City did in the 1970s when New York was going through a tough time. Laureen Powell Jobs, Ruth Porat are co-chairing that and leading.
She's an alum.
Why do you think I know some things? Yeah. So you got a lot of good alums.
Yes.
So the two of them are leading this group. We're meeting with them again in July. We've had a first kickoff meeting with them. And I want them to I don't want them just advocating for business. I want them advocating for San Francisco. And I want them going around the globe saying, San Francisco is a place that you have to be, but we're talking to them about how do we rebuild Union Square? How do we revitalize downtown? How do we get that 35% office vacancy rate, starting to go down? And so we have a great group there. We have a group called the Downtown Development Corp that is launched as well. A guy from 6th Street, David Stiepelman, founded that. And also, something that I saw, I was in New York City after September 11th, 2001, and there was that Lower Manhattan Development Corporation. And now, if you were in New York City in 2001 and 2002, and you said, oh yeah, downtown will be back, people were like, no, it's not coming back. I remember people saying that to me, and now it's thriving in Lower Manhattan. People have said Union Square is not coming back. I couldn't disagree more, and so business leaders, labor leaders are involved with that Downtown Development Corp here in San Francisco, and we are going to do this together, and it's going to take the public sector, of course, but it's absolutely going to take the private sector joining forces with us.
So how do you think about the role, you mentioned San Francisco, there are many great colleges and universities, not only in San Francisco, but in the surrounding area. What do you see as the role of education here?
I mean, especially what we're talking about with Wharton, these companies need leaders. They need places where they can get trained up. And the reason we have such an innovative ecosystem is because of those universities that I mentioned before. I mean, UCSF is just world class. Obviously you could talk more about public health and the healthcare system, which needs innovating. So I hope some alums here are going to help them. But Cal, Stanford, that is what has built the Googles and the Facebooks and all those companies that are still, obviously going strong. And I think there's a huge role for education to play. Now it's changing. It's changing at lightning speed with AI, and how do you incorporate that into your education? I'm going to leave that to you, and you're the expert on that front, so you could probably answer that question better than I could.
We've had that discussion a number of times today.
I'm sure.
I want to pivot just a little bit because you have been very vocal about climate and climate technology. Where does that come from for you, and what are your goals with that?
So we actually also with Laureen Powell Jobs, really I want to have San Francisco once again lead on climate and creating that ecosystem of entrepreneurs that are going to tackle this challenge that is facing the globe. We held a spot as a leader in that arena for many years. I think Mayor Newsom, now Governor Newsom, was really focused on that, in the early 2000s. And I think we lost that mantle, and I want us to grab that back. We want to create an innovation hub downtown where we bring entrepreneurs and innovators under one roof. They do that in Honolulu. Emerson Collective has done some interesting work out there. I want to bring that to San Francisco. I mean, we have all of these companies, we have all of these universities, and we have to tackle this climate issue. We all know it's real, and I believe that San Francisco should lead. And how we're looking at climate just on a local level is really also around transit and making sure we get more people riding transit. We need more EV charging stations. Right now, we always talked about getting everybody into electric vehicles, but we don't have any chargers, and so that's a problem. And so we're trying to up our game on that front. So that's another area that we're investing in.
San Francisco is moving fast. Are you able to keep up with the pace of the technology and the startups that are here?
Well, I don't need to keep up with the pace. What I think maybe you're going, like, are we using the technology at City Hall and with our 58 different departments, and are we using the best in class? No. We need to up our game when it comes to data, when it comes to using systems that talk to each other. I mean, I think we have like 30 different data systems at the 58 different departments. And then if we do a homeless outreach visit with somebody, prior to us coming into office, we had 9 different street outreach teams, 5 from the Department of Public Health. We did not talk to each other. Now we have one unified approach so that they're coordinated. They have meetings before they go out each morning. And those 9 groups are down to 6 neighborhood outreach teams. Mm-hmm. And all those teams have somebody from each of the departments embedded into them. So it's funny, I've had this conversation at a few different tech-oriented talks, and I talk about something that is very low tech, which is looking each other in the eye, having conversations. We have a weekly department head meeting of the top 20 departments, the largest agencies of those 58. We have a 9 a.m. Tuesday morning meeting where we all look at each other in the eye and we say, okay, who's working on what? What challenges are you having? Does Department of Public Health need PD's help? Does the fire department need to work with the homelessness services department? It's game changing. And now you see people come a little early and talk to each other. You see people stay late. We only have a 30-minute meeting, something that, I talked to Jamie Dimon early in our administration. He has this amazing JP Morgan Healthcare Conference here in San Francisco, which we were at risk of losing. We kept it. We kept it here for the next 3 years. I invited him to City Hall. He had never been to City Hall before, despite years of having this amazing conference. And he's like, don't ever have a meeting that's longer than 30 minutes. I was like, that's good, because I don't have a lot of patience. So we have these 30-minute meetings, but then people stay after and they talk to each other. So we're building some cohesion, some trust amongst these departments. And now what we need to do is bring in the best of all of those companies that we have right here in San Francisco. And how do we share data? How do we use AI? How do we make our workers more productive? And we haven't done it yet, but we're on our way.
So New York did something similar in terms of bringing all the agency heads together regularly. And one of the advantages is not only in everyday engagement and communication, but when something, God forbid, happens that is crisis-like, you've already established those relationships.
Yep. We've had a lot of demonstrations recently here in San Francisco, and we always talk about an earthquake happening because we have to be prepared here in San Francisco because it will happen. And so we have had a lot of training over the last few weeks. We have a huge Pride weekend notice the socks. Just notice the socks, please. Um, we have a great weekend, but we're expecting close to 1 million people to come in on Sunday for our Pride activities, and it's just going to be awesome. And we got to be ready to keep people safe. That's my number one priority. And so yes, we're activating often, and that ability to talk to each other over and over again during different encounters has really helped us be prepared.
Yeah. What's been the biggest surprise about your role as mayor?
This might sound canned, and now that I said it like that, it probably will feel canned. I love my job. I love
You didn't
this
expect
job.
to?
I did. I hear people were like, "What are you doing? This is there's no one that was like this. You're gonna have a good time." No one said that. And I'm having a good time. I like being out on the street talking to people. I like going to small businesses and checking in on them and seeing how they're doing and what's working, and more importantly, what's not working. I'm a big believer in that you can't fix what you can't see, and I'm seeing a lot, and that's why I know we got a lot of challenges. But I love it. I think I have not only the best political job, but I think I have the best job in the country, and I get energy from it. There are definitely maybe Friday afternoons around 4:30, 4:45 where I've been like,
tired.
well, that's been a week, but I love it.
That's awesome. One of the things that I most appreciate and enjoy about the job that I do is the people that I work with. So how do you identify talent? How do you pick your team? How do you manage the people side?
I'm a big believer in finding great people and then letting them run. You cannot run a $15.9 billion city with 35,000 employees with one person. You've got to have a great team, and we do. We have an amazing chief of staff in Stacy Slaughter, someone that I knew fairly well beforehand, but she was at the San Francisco Giants. We have a chief of economic development who came from the private sector, and Ned Siegel. Alicia John Baptiste is our infrastructure and mobility head. She was at a think tank outside, but also had inside experience. Kunal Modi came from the private sector, who runs public health for us and kind of oversees those departments. And I wanted people from different walks of life and not who were just from inside the building. Yeah. We have some inside the building knowledge, but we got a mix. And then we're communicating all the time. And I just want smart people that are passionate, that aren't that weren't just insiders, because we needed some outside wisdom and experience.
How do your kids handle being the mayor's son?
So our son is 11. He's playing baseball 10 hours a day right now in camp here in San Francisco, and he goes to practice, and then he's got All-Stars up near Sacramento this weekend. I mean, he just looks more exhausted than I do at the end of the day. So he's pretty focused on what's going on. Yeah, which is what he should be. He's great. And my daughter's actually in New York City for 5 weeks at a ballet program at ABT, taking the subway every morning, having the time of her life. So I think it was strange in the beginning, and now they're like, oh, whatever, So, I think the good thing about this job is I take them to school every day, and I see them almost every night, at the very least before they go to bed, and I try to make it home for a late dinner. But they're at ballet till 7:30. He's at sports till so they're out late anyway.
So when you think about the world that they will soon inhabit, what is your hope and dream for them, particularly as we see so much change happening technologically and the uncertainty around the jobs that will be here or not here by the time they come of age?
I haven't answered that question before. What I hope for all of our kids is that they're in a world where they can still connect with people in real life, that it's not all online. My daughter and I were FaceTiming last night, and she's had wet hair, and she was like doing pigtails, and she's like, I used ChatGPT to tell me how to handle my wet hair. And I was like, what is going on? So I just want to make sure that, you know, they are in a world where they are connecting with people, that they're feeling like they are productive, that they are, obviously all you want for your kids is happy and healthy. I mean, those are the two things, but that they are part of society and not sitting locked behind a screen or where everything is done for them. I think making sure that we keep that in real life connection, I think is going to be really important. I've never answered that question. I'll answer that maybe better next time, but yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. So, last question for me, and that's, what is one leadership lesson that you've learned that could help others as they're working on really hard problems?
It sounds so fundamental, but I believe this at Tipping Point, and I believe this in City Hall. Like, you have to be able to do the little things well. I mean, the very little things. Communicate well with your team. Tell them when you don't think that they're performing. Asking for feedback on how you can get better. You know, I had a friend from the business world who I remember said, you know, we did these big events at Tipping Point, and I remember something he said to me. He's like, oh, your ability to execute on this event, which, you know, I was like, it's just an event. And he's like, your ability to execute flawlessly this means I trust you to do bigger things. And I think where people have lost faith in government is that government has not been able to do the basics. We forgot about keeping people safe. We forgot about cleaning our streets. This permitting issue in San Francisco has gotten to be so broken that it can take you a year to get a restaurant up and running. You have to apply for a permit, or you did before we got involved, to put tables and chairs on the sidewalk, and it would take you a month and $2,000. If you have your residents and your taxpayers not able to do just the little things well, they're not going to trust you to do the big things. And so I always preach at your company, do the little things well, and that will enable you to dream big and to do the big things well.
I lied. I said that was my last question, but you sparked something else for me, and that is favorite sports team in San Francisco.
Well, the Valkyries are on fire right now. They're playing in 2 hours, and by the way, the highest valued franchise in women's sports after 2 months of being in the league. But I grew, you know, so that's so exciting in San Francisco. They've sold out 8 straight games at Chase.
Wow.
So they're beating most of the NBA teams in terms of revenue. But I grew up a Niners fan and a Warriors fan. So anything, and our Giants are playing pretty well this year. So anything San Francisco is going to get me. Oh, I'm sorry. Your Phillies, I know your Phillies, and your Eagles won this. You're wearing Eagles green, I'm sure. So that owner has, a similar last name to me, but not related. Go Niners. But listen, I'm honored to be with you all. I'm so thrilled that Wharton is going to be doing even more here in San Francisco. Our door is open to all of you. If these are these all alums from San Francisco's program?
No, they're alums from around the world.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so if this is your first time in San Francisco, go back home and tell everybody San Francisco's on the rise. We got this, and please come on back soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.